right, Sagittarius, Taurus season is here. Here in your solar sixth house for the Sagittarius charts. What is the sixth house? A lot of people will talk about the sixth house as this boring place of mundane material existence. This is the place of your chores, your jobs, your responsibility. It's the place of health and well-being, as well as illnesses and afflictions. This is the place of employment and servitude, and sometimes what can feel like enslavement, or maybe even possibly be that. This is a place where your life energy gets wound and bound into the necessities of life. And the necessities of life are many. And depending on your body and your conditions, your necessities will look wildly different. But anybody, anywhere, first and foremost, has the necessity of their own functionality, their own day-to-day. And this means living in a body. This means eating, breathing, shitting, sleeping. This means taking care of your basic needs. So first and foremost, Taurus season is a period of time for a little bit of a check-in. You know, how are you doing? How are you feeling? It's a friggin' crazy feeling time on planet Earth. It's really hard to take care of our personal needs when, you know, global corporations are refusing to take care of the water that we all drink. It's a really hard time to do self-care when every single second of every single day, we're being bombarded by consumerism and violence. How are you taking care of yourself in the midst? And in your charts right now, there's also a connection and a recognition that your self-care, your practices have got to be somehow also relational. So self-care is community care. But we can also easily leave ourselves behind when we're trying to care for community. And so if we want to do the community care, then we also need to do the self-care. And there's emphasis right now on how are you tending to your own experience. And that is your holistic experience. That includes your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, relational, and environmental health. There's no such thing as perfect health in the world that we live in today. And so I really just want to put it out there that if you're feeling sick and tired, that would make sense to me. And one of the ways that I think that we can care for ourselves best in a time of profound dis-ease is by acknowledging how we're feeling and validating and affirming that there are reasons for us to be feeling the ways that we're feeling, especially if we're not feeling that well. Now, that's really different than obsessing about not feeling well. It's really different than dwelling on it, and it's really different than insisting on it. And I'm not encouraging you to do any of those things. I am encouraging you to notice where and how imbalances might be present in your life right now. Imbalances are present for everybody in everybody's life, not just Sagittarius identified people. But if there are places for you where you're feeling out of sorts, where you're, you know, feeling unwell, then these are places to validate for yourself, which can be hard for a lot of people. Like, just first and foremost, that can be a huge project, right? To actually admit, like, oh, I'm unhappy, you know, I'm not feeling good in these ways. Like, sometimes that can be really challenging, especially for fire signs, okay? fire signs, and especially I think Sagittarius in particular, are often looking to fix things. And it's like, well, I'm not feeling good. What's the reason, right? I'm not feeling good. What am I going to do about it? They want to jump into the philosophy of it. And just to be in your body and be like, oh, I don't feel good. Damn. Wow, this is really hard to not feel good. That can be wildly uncomfortable for a Sagittarius. You might feel like you are, like indulging you're not feeling well, right? And you're like, oh, like I could never, like there's an aversion almost to just allowing yourself to not feel good. I want to encourage you to feel how you feel, to feel how you feel. So I'm asking you, like, how are you doing? And then I'm hoping that you take all of Taurus season to keep asking yourself that, and that you feel how you feel. Okay. So then let's get into the community aspects of this, right? Like, so how you feel is going to affect your environment, and how your environment is doing is going to affect you. And there's a need right now for you to be tending to both places, and to be also asking into, like, how does it feel in the environmental field right now? How does it feel in my relationships? How does it feel in the air outside? How does it feel for me when I walk down the street in my neighborhood? What's happening here? And to be really simplistic and basic and somatic about it. And when I say simplistic and basic and somatic, what I mean is in your body about it, not in your head, not in your concepts, not in the ways that you might explain it to yourself or others, but to just be in the direct experience. Notice what it is that you are feeling, and notice what kinds of information you're picking up from the spaces around you and from anyone or anything that you're interacting with. Then you want to notice that there is always change that's happening. And so in the field of feelings, right? Like you might be walking down the street and you're like, a car goes by, and let's say the car is really noisy and it kind of scares you, and you're like, whoa, I'm feeling startled, and that the feeling of that car going by just felt aggressive to me. And then you turn the corner and like, oh my God, there's this lilac bush and it's blooming, and wow, now I'm feeling totally awash in this scent. And notice how your energy and your capacity shifts from one experience to the next. And that noticing of how things shift is really important, because it's something that I think you want to be working with right now. You want to be cognizant of the ways that you are influenced by your environment, but also how you can intentionally relate so that you shift in how you feel. And so if you notice, like, whoa, when that loud car drove by and startled me, my whole body kind of clenched. And if I were to try and have a conversation with somebody from that state, I would probably be kind of aggressive and irritable, maybe kind of reactive. And that's really different than, oh, wow, this lilac bush like smells amazing. And I just want to stop and actually drink in this scent. Like, how can I get my whole head in the flower? And then if you have a conversation with somebody from that space, you're going to be a lot more receptive. You'll probably be more relational, like kind of luscious or sensual even. It's like, oh my God, you want to like get in this flower together? It's like, how your environment is also how you are. And how you are then affects your environment. So if you're going from feeling startled and upset by this car into a conversation, and then you're reactive and aggro with somebody, guess what's going to happen in the relational space? That's very different than you're in your lilac head, and then you're in a conversational space. Something totally different is going to happen. So Taurus season is a period of time that I think is really calling you into consciousness. And this consciousness feels very present moment awareness. It feels like you are a creator of your environment, and you are becoming increasingly conscious of your creative capacities. And you're understanding that your creativity is always a collaboration. You are always in collaboration with everything that informs you. And you are in collaboration with everyone that you are relating with. And in all of this mixture, environments are being shaped, experiences are happening. And then everybody who's contained inside of those environments and experiences, they are also being shaped. They are also happening, right? And becoming part of the happening. And there's something about this that feels really important for you to work with over the course of Taurus season. Your creative potency is asking for examination. Take that however you want to take it. We are inherently naturally creative beings. We are made of creation. Our bodies are creative. Our minds are creative. We create all the time. Everything that we are creating comes through our imagination. It comes through our energy. So you are a creative person, and in the ways that you are creating what you can create, given the conditions, given the outlets that you have, something wants to be examined. And I feel like what wants to be examined for you has a lot to do with the nature of your beingness and the ways that you move through and take up space. And space, whether it is relational or phenomenal, influences you deeply and has a lot to do with then how you create and how you are creative. This is a period of time that is also really asking you for updates and upgrades and up levels, especially from the new moon in Taurus on May 7th onwards. And I'm going to say especially the last week of Taurus season, like from the 12th through the 19th. This is a great time for updates, upgrades, and up levels. What can help you to feel potent, vibrant, alive, awake, creative, in collaboration with the world around you? What can help you feel those ways? And there's a lot here about letting go of what doesn't help you feel that way and making space for what does help you feel that way to the extent that you can, right? And so we might not be able to control, government spending and what our neighborhoods look like on, every single level or something like that. But we can have some amount of control around how we are interacting in our own spaces. We can have some amount of control over what we're noticing, what we're giving our time, energy, and awareness towards. And this is a season that is asking for you to be really conscious and mindful and skillful about how you're using your energy, how you are navigating the environmental, relational, energetic exchanges, and then what you are kind of calling in or inviting in, asking to both receive and also to give. And I'm going to say that the last week of Taurus season, there's a lot of opportunities. There are opportunities to majorly change habits right now. So if some of you are like, oh my God, I'm always doing this thing and it's not making me happy, it's not serving my energy, it's not serving my well-being, this is a great time to shift that pattern. This is a great time to cut out addictions. This is a great time to like bring in new practices to really help serve and support you. This is also a really powerful time to call in experiences, particularly that have to do with your labor and with your output. So if you're like, wow, I hate my job, you know, and like it's taking all this time and energy and attention from me. And every time I go to work, like it just feels like I'm dying, you know, and I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to say that this is a great time to find a new job. This is an amazing time to get out there, you know, to look for the thing that you really want to be doing. So make those changes, but also recognize that your attention and your environment and how you're relating in your attention and in your environment will have everything to do with how you see what opportunities are available to you.